Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'm going to talk about the importance of kids playing sports in school. But first, I have a question for you. If you could go back and be a kid for a day, would you go back and play a sport again? Or if, for some of you, would you go in and play a sport for the first time in your life? Well, these kids nowadays, they got a lot of things to stay inside for. Like the upcoming or the big thing that's going on now is Fortnite and the games that keep kids inside now. But now these kids are just finding other ways of building a confidence, but they're not really exposing themselves to anything. But I want to argue about the importance of kids playing sports and why it should be something that still grows today instead of dying out. And by talking about this subject, I know there's been a lot of arguments going back and forth about the safety and the mental health issues that might come into play later on in the kid's life after he starts playing those sports. But tonight I'm going to talk about the healthy parts of the sports, as well as what the sports can teach kids as they keep playing and going through. And I will mention some of the arguments that come up about sports being played and what I've found or what I've seen to be a counter argument to that. But in high school, I played sports and I learned a lot from it. And why this is important for some of you that may have kids now or they are going on to try and find something that interests them. They can learn so much from this, and I hope this kind of helps with that question of whether or not you should let the kid play or find an interest in sports themselves. But first off, I'm going to go over the importance of sports and what it teaches to the kids. And the best thing I found on this subject is that according to athleteassessments.com, sports teach kids to become better listeners, and it helps grow their confidence. And a lot of kids now, they have that short attention span, but a lot of your athletes, they will tend to listen a little bit more, even pay attention more in class, and that you can kind of see where they walk with a little bit more pride to their step, like they just have nothing that can knock them down off of that pedestal. And that's because the sport helped them grow up to be confident in themselves and see what challenges will lie ahead of them, and they can knock it out of the way as long as they stay confident and pay attention to what's going on. And according to Novak Djokovic Foundation.org, the sports also help them work well as a team. And working well as a team is an important thing for a kid to learn, because they can they're going to be exposed to team building exercises like going to work and having to work as a team with the people around them and making sure they're getting their job done as well as you getting your job done. But now I'm going to transition to the health that comes into the sports world. And sports help kids keep a healthy lifestyle. It teaches them to have good habits of exercising or at least getting out and doing something a little bit active, even though it may not be as much as what some other people be doing. It's that still that little bit helps. And uh, health health.vic.gov says that it helps them grow stronger bones, tendons, ligaments, and uh, it just keeps them strong while they're doing this activity and keeps them from getting too badly hurt. But uh, according to sportsanddev.org, uh, helps them really build that them health habits and really helps them build that confidence of, hey, I can keep going, I can keep on doing these exercises, keep looking better, keep getting better. And that's a good thing that sports is teaching these kids. But now we're going to talk about some of the arguments that come up about kids playing sports in schools. And some of the arguments that come up, like irishtimes.com stated, that the over competition that comes with sports is ruining these kids' mental health, and that just eats away at it because of they may not get as much playing time as other kids, or even going on and not performing well. That it wears on their mind, and that's a good thing to consider about. But whenever it comes to the truth of it, and this is where the counter arguments will come in. Coaches teach the kids to perform their best and to keep on going on with what they're doing. And once they see that they ain't performing as well, they're going to bench them. They're going to put them on the sideline. And yeah, things are going to be competitive. Competitive sports is what helps dealing with real life situations. Like in the real world, you're going to have to compete for jobs, and you're going to have to compete for a new position, or even in a job interview, whether you're directly competing with that person or not, you are still competing for that job that you're interviewing for. And it just helps with a sport background to be exposed to that bit of confrontation and the competition for it. But that all sums up what this speech is about. We have talked about the health issues. We have talked about what sports can teach kids, and the arguments that come up, and they're good arguments, but they don't see the full picture. And that comes with kids needing to build up their confidence by taking on challenges. And tonight I want to end off on the call to action of us as growing up, soon to be adults or already adults, so are going to have kids one day or already got kids running around. We had our options whenever we was growing up. We took them or we didn't. Sometimes we wish that we did. But now with the little ones running around, we need to let them have the options we didn't get a chance to do, or that we chose not to do, because we question ourselves even what would have happened if. Well, we don't need to let our kids grow up with that and not attempting something such as a sport that will help them have a healthy lifestyle. And that's just why my whole speech is about, that we should let the kids have that opportunity and let them take what they need to take and just build up this whole knock this staying inside thing down and just going out, enjoy the sport, and attempt it. But thank you and good night.